Hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing well today. Just getting everything set up for the stream. It'll be just a minute or two. Ellen, I know I'm late. I was trapped under cricket, so I have an excuse. I had to be there. Hello everyone. Oh, David, I'm glad you can make it. All right. It looks like everything's working. You guys can hear me, right? Try and make sure I'm not on too much of a delay here. Yeah, it's a couple seconds for the delay. All right, well, for those of you guys who are new to the live streams, my stream might be a tiny bit different than some of the other streamers within our little watercolor community, only because I have to do so from my phone. So I don't have as much control over like the settings or the zooming or anything like that. I'm trying to work on a better setup, but we're just we're going with the flow here. As kind of like a disclaimer, the chat may or may not be available in the replay. The first time it was not, the second time it was, but I told everyone it wasn't, so I made sure that it didn't show, but just to make sure that everyone's privacy is respected, anything you type in the chat may be reflected in the replay of the video. All right. So today I talked to some of you guys over on Instagram, and we're going to be taking a look at some quinacridone gold alternatives and how to mix other colors with them. This is going to be a pretty kind of just loose and fun casual live stream because I haven't done a whole lot of mixing with these outside of what you guys have seen on Instagram and what you're seeing right here. Hi everyone. Hey Ian, thank you for being here. I know it's late where you are, so if you need to go to bed, don't let me keep you up too late or anything like that. So I haven't done any mixes with other colors other than trying to mix Sap Green. I kind of use that as my tester. And I want you guys to tell me, we're going to play a little bit of a game. You might not be able to see the numbers on these cards, but we've got, this one's labeled number 1, number 2, and number 3. And I want you to tell me which one is Daniel Smith's Sap Green. One of these swatch cards is Daniel Smith's Sap Green. The other two are mixes from White Knight's Indian Gold. Hey, Dan. Got guesses coming in for 2 and 3. Hey, Jacqueline, I'm glad you could make it. You're probably just getting off of work, huh? It's fun seeing all your votes trickling in here. 2 because of the glowy thing. Dan's guessing 1. There's a couple guesses for 3. Jacqueline, I was going to start at 2 o'clock my time, so it's 5 o'clock Eastern, probably 4 where you're at, I think. I started a little bit late, actually. I was trapped under a cricket, so I was about 15 minutes late to stream. All right, I couldn't trick too many of you guys. The Daniel Smith one is here in the middle. It is number 2, so a lot of you guys got that right. And you can still have. Oh, Jacqueline says, "Don't ask you." These two do have a difference in person, but they are the closest I've come so far to being able to get to this one. This one does have more of a glow to it. I'm glad the camera picks it up because it's really hard to see. It's especially hard to see if you're not under daylight bulbs. If you're in like a warm lit room, it's really hard to tell the difference. Yeah. So here are some of the alternative paint selections, and here's Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Gold. And I actually painted this swatch fresh, there we go, because the other one that I had was painted way back at the beginning, and I just want to make sure that I was painting all these out at relatively the same time. I repainted this one. So the other one I painted right at the beginning. I wanted to make sure that my technique for swatching was the same across all the different ones, since those were done, 2 years ago or so. So this is what I've got for you today. And then I thought I would kind of show you, I did a little bit of this in the video called Saying Goodbye to Quinacridone Gold. So this part's a little bit similar, but then we're gonna go off-roading. So we'll get some new content here. I just wanted to kind of show you, for the newer viewers on the channel, what some of the differences are. So some brands, like we've got Winsor, Newton, White Knights, and Holbein here, I would consider these all to be pretty bright versions of a sap green. So they're just more vibrant. This one's a little bit mossier. Oh, you might have also been referring to this as being a different color. It's not glazed, obviously, but but this is the sap green. I don't have any samples of the new Daniel Smith Quin Gold. I did have a stick, and I don't know what happened to it. I think I gave it to someone. I don't have it, so. Winsor & Newton's, I do like this sap green, but it is much more vibrant than this cooler, or not cooler, mossier, earthier version. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep up with chat and explain everything at once. Daniel Smith's new, why don't I have that swatch? Oh, it's right here. I didn't pull it on camera yet. See, that's how out of it I am. I prepared all my swatches beforehand and still didn't know what I was talking about. So the new Daniel Smith is PO48, PG7, and PY150. So it's the same combination they use for their new version. Daniel Smith uses the same two pigments for theirs, and then adding the Phthalo Green. If that makes sense. I think everyone in the chat can help with that last question about what my favorite version of Sap Green is. I'll let them tell you guys. So here, what I'll do is I'll put the second glaze on the Daniel Smith card so that you guys can see that. And then maybe it'll look a little bit more like the other samples to you guys. It's going to take a minute to dry. All right, and of course I say this in pretty much any video, but just as a reminder, I only have the samples that I have samples for. I can't own every single color, so these are just the ones that I have. So anyway, what I was talking about is that these are going to be our brighter versions of Sap Green, which are a little less earthy than Daniel Smith one. You're saying this one doesn't look like the one in my binder. I'm not sure why that would be. I can pull it out. It might have just been a different concentration of the paint. It's the same tube. I only ever had one tube of it. And then I also have some other versions of, this might be loud, moving a porcelain plate. And then these are some other versions of Sap Green that I don't like as much. This is Sennelier's and this is MGraham's, and they're just really flat in comparison. They don't have a glow like some of the other ones do. Dan says, I thought you own every color already. Huh? No, not every color. Although I did count, if you guys didn't see on Instagram, I counted up my swatches and there's over 600 of them, which is mind-boggling to me. It's pretty crazy. And here's Core Sap Green. And Core Sap Green I was so excited about because when I painted it out, when it was wet, it looks like Daniel Smith Sap Green. But when it dried, it got a lot darker and a lot more granulating than the Daniel Smith version. So this is going to be much mossier and much deeper than the other Sap Greens, but I thought I would go ahead and show that to you. So these were just some of the mixes that I was testing out because I'm very familiar with Sap Green as a color. So I was like, well, if we can take some of these mixtures and make some other versions, let's go ahead and try that. And then I want you guys to tell me some other things that you want to see. So we're going to do some comparisons of the original Quinacridone Gold mixed with some other versions of colors. So let me just clear off the space here. Make sure the wet one goes on top. We'll line these guys up at the top of the screen. Yes, the coarse Sap Green is very beautiful on its own. I do like it a lot. You don't mind wasting MGrahams Sap Green, using it up for practice. I don't mind it. It's just, it's so dull compared to the other one. So what kind of spurred this whole thing was that I had heard a lot of people say that White Knight's version of Indian Gold was really close to Daniel Smith's Quin Gold. And after seeing it, I can't necessarily agree with that statement 100%. It definitely feels flatter than the Daniel Smith version. But then when we look at these other versions that are primarily made with PO48 and PY150, they tend to be the right color in the mass tone, but when you tint them out, they get a lot more yellow, whereas this stays more brown. And then Winsor Newton's, I haven't gotten a chance to mix it with a lot of other ones yet, but this one is a really nice version, and I'm really excited to see what it does. Lana, I probably have tried it on the, I don't know where it is right now, the swatch card for Sommelier. But as I tell everyone, like, this is only a little snippet of their colors. I cannot judge a color based on these tiny dots. Like, I can get an idea for what colors I want to try, but there's no way that I can know how this pigment is going to react just based on this little dot chart. So, am I missing it? Oh, Sap Green here. Oh, that's really bright. Yeah, I remember swatching that out now. It's super, super, super bright, and it's not at all like the other Sap Greens. And their Quinacridone Gold is over here. I think that's also pretty close, but again, I would need a larger sample to really play with it. But enough with that. Let's go ahead and start swatching so you guys have something to watch. Let's see. Oh, the PV19 and the Quin Gold. Yeah, I think it gives it a little bit of warmth, but it's interesting that it's also paired with another red pigment with 206. So that's really interesting. Are you guys all having a good day? I know it's different times all over the world. Here it's 2:30. Some of you guys, it's around dinner time. Some of you guys, it's bedtime. Yeah, I agree, Dan. The Schminke version does look very artificial. Oops. So here I have, I don't know where I'm going to put all these because I have them all in different palettes, but I've got the Winsor Newton version here. I've got White Knight's version here, and you can actually see how different this looks. I think you can see how different that looks. It looks like an ochre almost. It's really interesting. Don't let me keep you up, Luce. I'm glad you're here, but I don't want to keep anyone from their rest. So let's go ahead and, oh gosh, how am I going to do this? I have a plate here for mixing. I have a card here that we can do our different swatches on. I think otherwise I'm just going to have to juggle things. I think that's how it's going to have to be. My desk is too small for this. For Heather, it's 4. Just woke up. Good morning. Good morning, then. Let's see, what brush do we want to use today? Yeah, Jacqueline, this one is the new one from Meaden. So their new ones have rounded tops on them, which I really like, and they're branded. And they're also branded on the inner corner. This is a Schminke tin. All right, so I'm going to put these down. I'm sorry if there's loud noises. We're first going to use Sap Green as our like little standalone because I haven't tested all these different versions up here. I was just playing with the White Nights version. I may be varying the times of the streams because I know a lot of our regulars, like Otto and Eve and Grace and everyone, they tend to catch morning streams, and I want to make sure that I can hit everyone, but I know a lot of people were asking for this time, like an overwhelming number of you were asking for this particular time, so I might flip-flop back and forth so that we can get a little bit of everyone. We will see. Yay, I'm glad you guys could make it. Glad we can catch some new faces. If you are just tuning in for the first moment, if you want to give this video a like, it does really help out with the channel and with the video, and that would be much appreciated. How are my shoulders? Today is not a great day. The last couple days have been really rough, actually. Thank you for asking, though. Trying to rest them as much as I can. So this is the original Quin Gold, and we're just going to mix some of that Phthalo Green in there. Yeah, exactly, Monica. I just want to make sure that like everyone can get in there. Oh, you know what? I totally lied. This is what happens when I don't pay attention. This is Winsor Newton. I was using Winsor Newton, not the original. Glad I caught that. We would have had some skewed test results here. Cricket, what on earth? She's chasing ghosts again. So I'm going to mix a couple different strengths between the two pigments because it's not fair just to mix one simple swatch. Because depending on how much of each pigment is used, it could turn out differently. So I'll try and do two different ones. This is Winsor Newton. Thank you, Dan. I'm trying to get enough rest. It's hard. Chronic pain is an interesting little situation with sleep. And that I don't really sleep very well. So if I don't sleep well, then I'm not rested, and more sleep isn't going to help if it's not quality sleep. But I do my best, and I try. Oh, wow. Congratulations, Crystal. Found your original Quin Gold at your local store. I know a tube just went on sale on eBay a couple weeks ago for $80. Pretty crazy. Thank you, Ian, for the reminder. Yes, if you are typing a question in chat, please go ahead and put the word question in all caps and then your question in regular type so I can try and make sure I can see that. This is the original Quin Gold and Phthalo Green mixture up here. So not the tube version of the original Sap Green, but like I'm mixing their formula. And you can see here, like this is too vibrant. There's too much green, so I need to go back in and get some more gold so I can try and find the right balance to kind of emulate what the tube looked like. I'll tell Cricket you say hi, Heather. She's in the other room right now. I don't know if she darted off when I started recording. All right, so original mixture up here. Can you guys all see that? I think I'm on screen. Then we've got our Winsor Newton version here. I might mix up one more variation. These are looking a little bright as they dry. We'll try and tone this down a little bit, get another sample in here just to see. Nope, it's going to stay pretty bright, I think. Which is interesting given that there is a red pigment in here. You'd think that it would mellow out a little bit. but it is it's a pretty bright color. Well, I hope you feel better, Luce. All right, next one. Let's go ahead and pull up the White Knights. And when I was mixing this one, I did add a little bit extra of the nickel azo yellow. They called theirs Indian yellow. So I did add in an extra little bit of the yellow when I was mixing in the Phthalo Green. Oh, and I'm using Daniel Smith's Phthalo Green, if anyone's wondering. It shouldn't matter, but just to be consistent and comparing it to the regular one, that's the one I'm using. So you can see if you go too far to the gold side, it kind of gets olivey, and then you can add a tiny bit more of that green to try and bring it more in the middle. Hey Eve! Sorry, I didn't look up for a moment there and almost missed you. How are you doing? I hope we're not too close to your dinner time. Oh, sorry if I missed the question about this brush. It is a silver black velvet. It's a hybrid squirrel and synthetic brush, and it is rather floppy, but I do like it. This is a size 6, so it's a bit smaller. Yeah, you can make some really good olive greens with Quinacridone Gold and any of these ones that you see here. Take a little tea break 1 second while I catch up on chat. Hey, Steve. Hello to those of you who are new in chat. Yeah, there are a lot of variations in brushes, for sure. Well, hi, Cricket. Do you want to say hi to everyone? I'll start labeling these just so you can see this. This is Winsor Newton. This is White Knights. And all of these mixes I'm doing on this page are just the Quinacridone Gold. Cricket, get off my pillow, please. Good Lord, cat. All of these are just the Quinacridone Golds mixed with Daniel Smith's Phthalo Green. Cricket, you're being rather distracting. I was even late to stream so that we could cuddle longer, and you're still acting like we didn't spend enough time together. Hi, Heidi. Welcome. Heather's got a Cricket look-alike. Yeah, I really like this one. All right, next we're doing Holbein. I do like Holbeins. I feel like Holbeins, Cricket, what on earth? Can you guys hear her? She was sneezing. Holbein's is a little bit earthier. It doesn't get quite as yellow in the tinted out version. And that's one of my big problems with some of these versions of Quinacridone Gold that tint out to be really brightly colored. I like the earthiness of Quinacridone Gold. And now it's kind of almost walking that line of brown. Luce, her name is Cricket because when I got her, she was a rescue and she was super, super quiet. And when she would trill, she would make a noise like a chirp. And the longer I've had her, the more assertive she gets. and the less quietly mannered she is, which I don't mind at all, but her name isn't quite as fitting anymore. Dan says, don't ask me about Holbein. That's right, you didn't like them very much, did you? I didn't like them very much on my student quality paper, but they paint out very nicely on a cotton paper. So I think that was just needed some time with them with some different art materials. I certainly could in no way justify spending what they cost here in these states, though. When my, let's see, hold on, let me just write this real quick. When my local store was going out of business, even on sale, they were still like the same price as Daniel Smith would have costed me at a regular price. And they were 50 or 40% off. It was crazy. They're just way too expensive here. Well, Eve, at least you're not streaming with the landlord using your leaf blower. I always forget on Mondays and Fridays, uh-oh, it's Monday, that sometimes they come by with yard equipment. We're going to have to watch out for that. Usually it's later in the afternoon, though. Talking about cat names in the chat. All right, the last one we're going to try is MGrahams, and I don't have mine anywhere in a pan that's convenient, so I'm just going to put a little bit out here on the plate from the tube. What color would you guys like to see next? We're finishing up with the greens here. Is there any comparisons you want to see with the Quinacridone golds with another mixture? We could do that. We just did the Quinacridone Magenta Spotlight. We could see how the alternatives hold up to that mixture that I really enjoyed. I don't think I mentioned yet, I'm using some scraps of arches. It's the back side of arches, which is still fine to paint on. I usually don't, but it's still fine to. So I thought that it would be a good opportunity to kind of use up some scraps I had. All right, we'll do Magenta next. What am I writing? MGraham. I'll use a different pen for the next sheet. This pen was too small, I apologize. It's probably really hard to see that. So we'll wait for this to dry, but this is the original Daniel Smith mixture between original Quin Gold and Phthalo Green. This is Winsor Newton, which has gotten quite dull as it dried. This is White Nights, which also got a bit dull as it dried. Holbein has stayed pretty bright, maybe a little too yellow, but I could just add more Phthalo Green in there, and we'll see how this MGraham dries, but it's pretty glowy at the moment. Luce would like to see it mixed with some granulating earth tones. You know, let me show you something real quick. I was playing around with the White Nights mixture with the Indian Gold, and it looked really good, except for the fact that it was lacking a tiny bit of texture. Quinacridone Gold doesn't granulate a lot, but it does have some texture to it. So I took a little bit of Daniel Smith's Lunar Earth, and it has a little more texture than I'd like, but we could always dial that back a little bit. And then I mixed it with the PG7 for Sap Green, and this one is really interesting. I don't know if it'll show on the camera, it separated out, the Lunar Earth separated out like a serpentine genuine or green apatite would. It's more subtle, but I'm really excited. One of my viewers, Emma, are you here? I don't know if you're here or not, but she sent me a Lunar Earth sample and I am totally smitten with it. I used it for my AAC piece for the African wild dog and loved it. And I'm finding it's very cool in a lot of different mixes. All right, so then we're going to do Quin Golds with PR122. Let's do what do we got? Holbein. Oh yeah, we could mix it with ultramarine green to get original. Sorry, we could mix the Quinacridone gold with ultramarine to make the original sea green, undersea green. Where are my words today, guys? Can you help me find them? I don't know where they went. I also don't know where my paintbrush went. It's in my lap. That's a great place for it, given that my lap is covered in cat fur. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Jacqueline, stay safe in your thunderstorm. I hope you keep your power. Yeah, Luce, I really like the granulation with the Lunar Earth. It's a really cool color. And it's not a Primatech. I think it's PBR 11 or something weird like that. Yes, Heather. Crickets just made all my words fly out of my head. I had coffee with a friend this morning, which was fantastic, but I think all of my communication skills left me. At that time. All right, where is the easiest place for me to grab PR122? That would be on my White's Night palette. That is up, so the one I'm using is White Knight's version. We'll put that there just as like a reminder. And if you guys saw the color spotlight on Saturday, we had a whole row of these colors and they're really cool. It ranges anywhere from like a vivid, fiery, bright orange to a really bright primary type of red. Put in some of the variation here so we get a couple different snippets of what that looks like. Hi, Tiffany. How's it going? Is everyone accounted for? No one's made another jailbreak again, I hope. Jacqueline says she thinks Cricket needs a friend to play with. Trust me, Jacqueline, I tried. She hated the foster kitten I tried to bring home. A friend of mine was fostering kittens, and I thought she wanted a friend because whenever she hears meowing, she's always like, oh, what is that? I'm concerned. And then I didn't even put them in the same room. Like the little one was in a carrier, was totally separated, and Cricket, I thought she was going to like hyperventilate. I don't know if cats can hyperventilate, but I thought she was going to hyperventilate from how much she was hissing. She wants human companions. But I have my friends over for movie nights on Mondays, so today all of her friends are coming over tonight, and we'll give her lots of pets. Yeah, in the first live stream I did, people were talking about calling your guys' selves droplets. I think that's what you decided on. I did not take part really in that conversation, but if that's what you guys want to be called, that works. Yay, I'm glad everyone's home, Tiffany. Hey, Grace! Grace, when did you come in? Did I miss you? All right, which one? We're on Winsor Newton. Yeah, Heather, Cricket loves people. She's come out of her shell quite a bit since when I first got her. Now I think we're seeing less saturation in these because we are using cotton paper, and the paper that I use in the color spotlights is a cellulose paper. So it's absorbing more of the pigment, and we would need to do another glaze to get it really, really bright. But I'll try and put some more pigment on here so that we can make a better comparison. Swatches. These want to be called the swatches. I'll let you guys can decide. Let's see, White Knight's version is up next. It's pretty quiet day today. I hope my energy's high enough. I apologize if it's a little lacking. Sorry to hear, Lana. Cricket is not too much better when it comes to car rides. Taking her to the vet, even though the vet is super close, is always an ordeal. She really, really, really hates it. She gets so scared. Try and tell her it's going to be okay. We're working on crate training. So like voluntarily having her walk into her crate, which is something that we did at the zoo all the time. And we're getting closer. It's not quite the same yet. Let's see. Steve says everyone's tired. Is it just a Monday? Do we have the case of the Mondays right now? I think that's what it must be. I have this super cute tea mug here. I'm trying to like wake up with my tea. I don't think you can see it quite yet. It looks a little gruesome because I drink hibiscus tea, so it's red. But there's a little armadillo in the bottom of my cup. My friend gave it to me when I went to Austin. I'll show you when we get further down the mug. All right, we have a couple more on this page. Yeah, I love the little armadillo. He's so cute. It's a handmade mug. She got it from an Etsy seller. It was so sweet of her to think of me and pick me up one. Daniel's asking if anyone knows if the Dick Blick, and I think he specifically means the Blick Art stores, carry Escoda brushes. I know they do online, but I wasn't able to tell him whether or not I've seen them in stores. I don't have a Dick Blick near me, so if anyone can help him out, let him know. Yeah, it's a little problematic that I drink the hibiscus tea, given that the little armadillo's in there, but hibiscus tea is just so good. I can't help it. It's a hibiscus lemongrass rosehip thing. A couple years ago, I got really into blending my own teas, and I bought a lot of the like raw ingredients to make my own mixtures, and this is one that I still have left over. I know tea isn't supposed to be good after like a year or so, but it still tastes fine to me. It didn't get bland or anything. Oh, thanks, Steve. Steve said the one in Phoenix did when he was there last year. Grace, this is definitely my live stream for the week. I won't be doing more than one a week. And I don't even know if it'll be every week. It might be every other week because it takes away time from the editing videos. So I am able to put out less of my finished videos if I live stream more. So I'm trying to find a good balance right now. I would like to do them more regularly. And I think in the first half of June, I should be able to do so. I think I can get out. I'm hoping for 3 videos a week again, like I did in March, where I had a lot of content coming out. But it just depends on my pain days, of course. Hey, Mickey. Yes, Steve, I knew what you meant with the Blick in Phoenix. Thank you. Oh, interesting. For tea, Rubios and rosemary. It sounds like it would be very savory almost. Thank you, Tiffany. I will pace myself, don't worry. Yeah, so Monday won out, like Monday at 2 specifically won out very, very hard compared to the other 2 options that I had. I would rather stream on Tuesdays. I feel like I'm a little bit more awake on Tuesdays, but I don't want to step on the toes of anyone else. And I know that there are other streamers who stream on Tuesdays. So I didn't want to do a later in the day stream when I know a lot of you guys said 2 was good for you. And so Monday was the day that I defaulted back to. But I think I'll switch between like Monday at 2 or Tuesday at 9 before Valerie streams, because I like Tuesdays just because I feel like I've woken up a little bit from these crazy Mondays we're talking about, and that I have a little bit more stamina to be a little bit more energetic. I will let you guys know though. I am posting over on my Instagram stories, and I will definitely post in the community tab here on YouTube when I decide on the next date. Here you go. You can see the little armadillo friend now. He's very cute. So I think that I did not use as much pigment on the Daniel Smith one as I did with the other ones, just to be entirely fair. So I'm going to redo it, and I can show you that just so that we can make sure that these are nice equal comparisons. Thanks for hitting the notifications so that you get the notifications when I do go and put out content, whether it's a video or live streaming. Grace, I know. Now it just looks like he's like bathing in the blood of his enemies, right? Little armadillo surrounded by a pool. But at least you can see the armadillo now. I'll have to pick up some like regular tea for my stream days. If I paint with red, how do I tell it apart from my tea? Well, the tea has a cute armadillo in it. I do try and make sure, I said this in the last stream too, but I try and make sure that if I am sitting at my desk that my beverage has a handle, because my water cups don't, and that way I won't accidentally pick it up if I'm looking for a handle. Dan says he likes oolong tea. I can't remember if I've had oolong tea If armadillo was a color, what would it be? It would be like a yellow ochre, or one of the yellow ochre type colors, I think. Maybe Lunar Earth. Ooh, that Lunar Earth. That's an armadillo-y color. A little more brown. I can show you Lunar Earth if you guys want to see it. I think it'd be easier to paint it out than to dig out my swatch binder at this point. Oh no, armadillos are lighter than a umber, I think. Alright guys, so I don't know if you saw on Instagram, some of you guys did, but my beautiful handmade palette that I made for my Daniel Smith colors, I can't use it because it's too big and it hurts my shoulder, so I had to buy a Mission Magello that someone suggested in the comments. So thank you for that suggestion. I put them all in here. And that's where they're going to live now. I still have to do the swatch card for it though. And the color chart. Yes, Lunar Earth is a single pigment, and I will tell you which one it is in a moment. I forgot. I think it's PBR 11, but that might be wrong. It's a weird color. Like a not a common color. So it's kind of like this red ochre color, but it starts granulating immediately and granulates very, very heavy. Lunar Earth feels like an oxymoron, you're right. Kind of like PR 101. It's definitely more yellow, without a doubt. I thought I could get this pan out of here. My system. Daniel says, ooh girl, I don't like it. Oh, I just dropped water on it. I apologize. I'm trying to get this pan out for you guys so I can see what color it is. It might just be easier for me to... Yeah, I'm not getting that out. Sorry for the delay, guys. I'll just grab my swatch binder. It's going to be a process. Lunar Earth is not in my swatch binder, question mark? I know this is thrilling television, isn't it? You guys just sitting here waiting. I don't know where it is. Maybe I didn't make a swatch card for it. Someone want to look it up? If you can just Google search, or maybe Eve can tell us which pigment Lunar Earth is made out of. I think it's PBR 11. Oh, Mickey, did you confirm that it's PBR 11, or were you contemplating? I can look it up. I have a computer. I'm really sorry for the people who are watching this on replay. I know normally I'm better about streams, and one of you guys even complimented on me, which was so sweet of you to say that I was doing a good job at managing the replay ability of it. PBR 11. I should just go with my gut. Thanks, Luce. All right, so this is going to continue to granulate, and I mixed this in with the yellow ochre that I was using for my African wild dog, and it was able to bring the granulation up to match the granulation of the Bloodstone Genuine I was using. So I really liked it for that, and then it also made that really cool pattern in this swatch card where it separated out almost like one of the Primatech Serpentines or Green Apatites. So that's Lunar Earth. Again, viewer Emma sent that to me, so thank you to her. So this is the re-swatch of the Daniel Smith with a bit more pigment. Do you guys have any favorites on here? The MGraham definitely seems the most pigmented. Daniel, the dog was done with Bloodstone Genuine and a little bit of Payne's Gray to deepen it up for the nose. Yes, the Lunar Red Rock also, Eve, is really pretty. It's a nice one. Sorry, it wasn't centered on the camera. Yes, these are all very orangey. Red and gold makes orange. I do have Quin Gold from Core, but it's very similar to the MGraham, and just for the purpose of not being here and having 10 billion palettes on the palette. I mean, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. I didn't need a 7th or 8th. So I'm not going to be mixing the Core today, but it's very similar to the MGraham. Jacqueline just doesn't like any of them because they're orange. MGraham, yeah, I think MGraham and Winsor Newton does really well here. I like the White Knights. I like the Daniel Smith. I like all of them, really. Holbein's a bit more pastel than some of the other ones. Yeah, these are all very sunsetty colors. You're absolutely right. I think that this would be great for sunsets. I don't like bright orange, as you guys are all well aware of, but I like earthy or golden oranges. So these ones I like. All right, what color is next, guys? We did a green, we did an orange. You want to do purple next? No, sorry, I was thinking red. That was on Saturday, not today. Cannot make orange, or cannot make purple with a gold. My bad. Darn those Mondays. What was I thinking? So I have the tube of Daniel Smith's new Quin Gold, but I don't know where I put it. I think I gave it to someone. Okay, we'll do Anthraquinone Blue. We can do that. All right. I have to move my palettes for this, though. Oh, no. Okay, guys, as much as I love MGraham, this is what happens when you set the corner of your paint tin on what you thought was a dry palette. That's Terra Rosa. It was not dry because they never dry out. And I stuck the corner of the palette in there. That is not the first time that that has happened with that specific color. That's okay. I still love it. Terra Rosa never dries, ever, ever, ever. I love it. It's such a beautiful color, but it is a pain in the butt. I just dropped my paintbrush on the floor. That's nice. And it's so pigmented, so even though it's a little dollop, it takes 1,000 years to clean up. Let's see. Lana asks, if I don't like bright oranges, do I like pinks and purples? Yep. It's like the Halloween bright orange that I don't like. Emma asks, does anyone have a preference to Indian red or any other comparable colors? Oh, actually, that's funny because we were just talking about Terra Rosa, and that one is my favorite version of PR101. I know, Tiffany, you love orange, and I love you for loving orange. And happy anniversary. Yeah, my hands have paint on them all the time. All right, am I still on camera? Are we still doing things? Still doing the YouTube things? We have 90 in the chat now. Thank you guys all for being here. Again, I'm sorry that I'm so scatterbrained today. All right, let's try and finish this video off strong. I'm going to try and focus. I'm going to try and use my words properly. I'm going to try and make sure that I am swatching the right colors where they are supposed to be. And we're going to do this. Eve is adding Cobalt Teal from MGraham to the Never Ever Dries list. That is true. Whew, that is olive. Where are those olive green lovers in the house? Yes, I'm eternally grateful that watercolor is so much more so much less of a mess than acrylic is, or oils. Even if it can be messy with our paints that don't dry, I would much rather that than the alternative. And keep in mind that MGraham's Anthraquinone Blue also has, it's not quite granulation because this color isn't really granulating, but it has a texture to it that some of the other colors made with PB60 don't have. So there might be a little bit more texture in these mixes than if you used a different brand's version. The white night tube paints don't dry either. Oh, interesting, Lana. I haven't seen, I've heard that the white nights came out with the tubes, but I haven't seen them yet. I mean, that makes sense because they're also like honey based. Ooh, I like this one, guys. I like this one a lot. I agree, Steve. This one's pretty. I have a new Jackson's affiliate link. Some of you guys have seen that and have used it. Thank you so much. And when I have enough, maybe I'll look into picking up a couple tubes from the affiliates program of the White Night tubes if they're available there. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Etsy shop that sells the White Nights products here. Thank you for sharing. Oh, this is another gorgeous one. I think these alternative Quin Golds are doing just fine holding up in some of these other mixes. I know I'm very picky and critical about my Sap Greens just because Daniel Smith was the first I used, and in my opinion, it's still the best one, but these other mixes are doing really, really well. They're really beautiful. Yeah, I like this a lot with the White Nights version. Let's see what Holbein brings to the table for this one. We're going to have a color spotlight on PY150. I do like it. I don't like it as much as Quinacridone Gold, but I do like it, and it does make some really beautiful colors. I think there's still room for both on a palette. If you want to, or if you just want one or the other, that's fine also. Laura says the first Sap Green she used was bland and flat, and she'll just mix her own. I think that's a good way to go about it. All right, we are on Holbein. Yeah, it's a little squash down here. Lana, which Sap Green? Yes, these Holbein colors are beautiful too. I do like them. You can see here on my palette, if you weren't sure what I meant before by that the MGraham's Anthraquinone Blue has an interesting texture, you can see the little particles separating out from the paint here. And on the subject of granulation, here is the swatch card for the Lunar Earth now that it's dried. Holy granulation, Batman. Yeah, I think all of these are really nice for like a nice deep, like murky, like here on the California, like northern coast, we don't have blue oceans. We've got like kind of murky Monterey Bay colors, and these would all work really well for that. Eve, I agree. I love that Lunar Earth. It's really cool. And I love that I'm saying that after hating granulation when I first started with watercolors. I think that's so fun with like the development we all go through in terms of finding properties of paints that we didn't enjoy before and then like come to really love when we learn more about them. I agree, Minnie. Anthraquinone Blue is a must-have on my palette these days. I don't just use it as a blue, I also use it as like my dark mixing color for anytime I need a dark color on a limited palette. I'll mix it with other colors for that, but depending on if I want it to be cool or warm. Bye, Steve. Thank you guys for coming. Sorry, it was a little bit of a boring chat today. I'm trying my best to be entertaining, guys. I agree, Eve. She's saying that being a beginner and trying to deal with granulation isn't exactly like hand in hand, just because it does require some knowledge of the watercolors and how to use them and how to like really harness that granulation. And it's not a characteristic that we see in any other medium, because in the other mediums it's opaque and you don't have separation of the pigment granules from the binder and the water, so you're not going to get that settling into the paper. So Tiffany, yeah, early videos I was like, nope, not granulation, don't want it. That's absolutely true. Aw, thank you, Grace. Thank you, Mickey. Thanks, Daniel. Oh, you guys are sweet. So granulation, the question is, does granulation make it harder to lift the color? It still depends on the color. A lot of times granulating colors are easier to lift, but sometimes you will get the pigment particles that settle into the grooves of the paper, and those ones you're not really going to be able to get up a lot of times. But for the most part, granulating colors are fairly liftable. All right, so here are our mixes for the Quin Golds with PB60. I still think my favorite is MGraham. Can you guys hear when I whisper? I don't know if that comes through on the mic or not, but yeah. This sure is making me fall more in love with MGraham. All these mixes, they're doing really well. I like the Winsor Newton too. I like the, I'm sorry, not Winsor Newton. I do like the Winsor Newton, but the White Knights has this like really subtle quality to it that I really, really enjoy. Luce likes the Holbein. Tiffany can't choose. Minnie says that her Winsor Newton indigo developed a mold. I don't know about the indigo, but the Phthalo Green has issues with like a white film that appears. Let's see if it's on this one. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I don't know how well it's going to come through with the light glare. There's like a little corner of white stuff on here, and it gets worse the longer it sits without water on it. The Phthalo Green is the only one I've had issues with that, but it's not a favorite quality of mine, that's for sure. Mickey is on the fence between these three. MGraham and Daniel Smith. This is definitely more blue, although if I added more of the Quin Gold, it'd probably be different. Like that's the thing with these, and it's really hard when you're doing videos and everything because I can't represent like every single color. It would take so long, especially in a live stream situation where I'm splitting my focus. So like this would go more yellow if you added more Quin Gold. But if you try and compare like comparable, like these are the ones that have more blue in them. These have like a middle amount of green, that kind of thing. All right, you guys know the question next. Which one do you want to do now? How long have we been streaming? It's been about an hour. We can do more. No one else likes the White Knights with me. I really like this one. So pretty. Eve, was that an intentional caps lock? The Hexes ain't purple. If you guys do want to buy supplies, if you guys are able to use the links in the description if you order from Amazon or Jackson's, it's always appreciated. That's under the shop link. Oh no, I need to update. Oh, Jackson's is there. Okay, it's under support and shop. If you would like to, you don't have to, but it helps me out and doesn't cost you anymore. Is Cobalt Teal on the bench still? Eve asks. I mean, I'm still using it. There's no point in having it and not using it. It's been made. It's been paid for, right? So I haven't heard anything back from any of the companies I contacted about it, which doesn't surprise me since it's a bit of a negative issue that I'm asking about. Do you want me to mix it with the Quin Gold? Is that what you're asking? I think purple won for this next round, and then maybe we'll do Cobalt Teal. Ian Jackson, I don't know if that's like at me or at someone else in chat. Be brave and mix your palette with the best from each company in one palette. I absolutely agree. That's what my studio palette is. And I definitely recommend that to others who feel comfortable doing so. My big studio palette is all my favorite colors from whichever brand it happens to be from. Oh, I don't know about ultramarine. Rose of ultramarine. We might get some really, really ugly mixes with that. I mean, it'd be interesting. Oh, is Mark here? Did I miss his entrance? I still don't see him in chat. Let's see. Switching over to live chat. I was on top chat for some reason. Well, hi Mark, if you are here. All right, I'll do Dioxazine Violet because I've seen that one a couple times, and then maybe we'll try and do a Cobalt Teal after that. There he is. Now I see you, Mark. Oh, this is a little short piece of paper for some reason. Move this palette. Not sticking it back in the Terra Rosa. Where'd my pen go? You guys, I would straight up like lose my limbs if I did not have them attached to my body. For real. Does anyone else get like I will be needing to go somewhere and needing to take something with me, and I will set the thing I need to take with me like on top of my purse and like on top of my keys, and then when I go to leave the house, I'm in like such a rush that I will actually move the thing that I needed off of my purse and keys and just take my purse and keys and leave. And it's like, really? Bye, Lana. All right, I'm doing PV23. I believe the one that I have in my main palette is Winsor and Newton. Mark says he never leaves things on top of his purse. Never. Tying it to your purse. That's a good idea. If it has room to tie it anyway. I have to clean my plates again. Oh, that's a good idea, Grace. I'm sure I would still forget it, though. It's just my beautiful, beautiful fibro brain. Doesn't make a lot of sense most days. All right, Dan, have a good sleep. Thanks for coming. I don't know why this plate is all of a sudden making a squeaky noise when it's never done that before. I'm trying not to let it squeak so that you guys don't have your ears like super mad at me. Yep. I'm glad I'm not alone, Heather. Like, why on earth did I put this here? Why did I need to take it? Oh yeah, 2 seconds ago you decided you needed to take it with you because XYZ. I owed my friend of mine who paid for a print, and she ordered a print and an original, and I gave her the original and forgot to give her the print somehow, and then I remembered to bring the print to her house the other night, and then almost left with it still in my purse. I mean, that's the way my brain works. It's like I can either remember to take it out the door, or I can remember to give it to whichever person I needed to give it to, but rarely both. Yes, recycling definitely works that way, doesn't it? Oh, that's good, Tiffany. Put them on a chair and block your exit with them. You'll never leave if you don't acknowledge the existence of this item. Ooh, I have not used this purple in a long time. It was reluctant to come off the palette. So some of these are going to be kind of blech mixtures, and then we should get some really pretty mixtures once we add a little bit more of the purple. Tiffany's method is a whole new level of remembering to take things with you. Did Mickey have to go? Sorry if I missed you, Mickey. Hey, Joe, welcome back. You just missed a lot of me babbling. Don't worry. Just reading chat. Sorry, guys. All right, Winsor Newton's next. I mean, I can show you the, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. I remember the last time I tried to mix Rose of Ultramarine with the yellow, it got real weird. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you're brilliant, and I should just listen to you, because you have a lot of great ideas. I mean that sincerely. Let's see. Oh, that is pretty. See? I just need to listen to you, Daniel. That is pretty. You're right. You're right. I think I had a negative experience with something. With the, maybe it was like a warmer yellow. I do like this, and this reminds me a lot of like the really warm browns that I like. So I'm going to say this, Daniel. You're right. I like this mixture, but I've already labeled the paper. So let's see what we can get. And I can do a couple other mixtures on that other swatch. No, you're right. You're right. And it's funny because I don't use that color very much. I love Rose of Ultramarine. It's probably my favorite hue of any color. Like, I absolutely adore it. But I never use it because I never have the opportunity to do so. But if for some reason I didn't know that it made really pretty browns, I mean, that's a really good opportunity because I use browns all the time. And maybe I should explore that more and not get stuck in my rut of using the same colors all the time. Oh gosh, no. No. I don't like this. This is like, it almost looks green. I don't like it. This is bad. Let's add some more purple stat. There we go. That's better. Much better. I like this richness. I mean, we could just switch halfway. We can do Rose of Ultramarine on the rest of the page. I think these are all going to be pretty similar. I'm actually curious. Let's see what the White Nights does, because the White Nights is really different in terms of like what it looks like on the palette. Yeah, the darker mixtures I like. I don't like the murky brownish mixtures when you have more of the Quin Gold, but I do love when you have more of the purple. But I love purpley browns, and so I am very biased. All right, We'll finish out the page. See, I like this better. This is just a little bit of the dioxazine with the white nights, but it's not as, I don't know how to explain that color. It's just such a bizarre mixture. But even if I add in more of this Quin Gold here, let me just set this down. Can't paint with one hand. Like, it's not as harsh as the other ones. So I like the white nights one better in the lighter tones. Let's see what it looks like with the darker one. Got a good middle brown here. All right, I'm glad we kept going. This is better. Wait, what did I miss in chat? What did I miss? Something about kitty litter? Something about Vancouver? I don't know. I missed it. I don't think I can scroll back and keep streaming at the same time. Interesting. So Daniel said he had a 3-color challenge with lemon yellow and dioxazine purple and that he didn't like the mixes. Daniel, have you seen my tiger video? The one that I did with Mama Lemur. I had lemon yellow, dioxazine purple, and Venetian red. And I was like, ew, no, I don't want to do this, blah, 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 blah. And then it turned out to be one of my favorite paintings. I ended up layering the purple over the orange instead, and it made a really pretty, like almost black color, and it turned out really, really nice. Eve, oh my gosh, no. Oh no. That's disgusting. Oh, that makes me sad. Eve said that someone put diapers in their compost. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to move on because I'm going to be too sad if I focus on it. You know, you just can't get through to some people. All the logic in the world doesn't work. People don't want it to. It doesn't matter if the diapers are biodegradable. What is inside them is not compost. And you put compost back into your gardens and it just doesn't work. You can use herbivore manure for compost because it's plant-based. You cannot use human. We're gonna go off of that topic real quick, okay? back to our colors here. We're mixing Holbeins now. All right, Emma, thank you for stopping by. Sorry it was a bit late for you. I have to admit, I was a little surprised by the results of the poll wanting 2 o'clock because I know that's a lot later in Europe. I know it's better for some people on the East Coast or the Eastern time zone because it's after work versus during the workday, but I know it's really late for our European friends. All right, bye, Melina. Happy Tuesday. Eve, you're funny. I think Holbeins is a bit of a miss for me. In this particular situation, not all Holbeins, but in this particular combo. Don't love it. All right, one more. We have MGraham. Let's see if MGraham can impress us again. Okay, the lighter one isn't as bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Luce is looking on Google for what colors these would be good for. Is that what you're looking at? Yeah, I think it'd be more for like landscape or shadows. This could be a good shadow color. You could use it for bison, but like, why not just use the prettier brown? Like, that's kind of the thing that I come across is even if you come up with these pretty mixes or not pretty mixes, like whatever you come up with your mixes for, if it's okay but not as good as one of your tube colors or something that you can get easier from a tube color, like mixing it, then like I can right now pull up a PB19 and my raw umber and make a super pretty and more consistent purpley brown. That is going to be like more reliable and more consistent for me than trying to find a balance between this too light of a color and this too dark of a color. So that's always my question when I'm mixing colors is, regardless of what it is it worth having to keep this complicated formula or balance in your head if there's something else that already works? Open a window! Grace accepts the purpley brown. Destiny, why would you say that bison aren't pretty? I love bison. Hey Camilla, welcome. Bison are amazing. So I have a story for you guys. While I'm telling my story, tell me what color. Are we still doing Cobalt Teal, or do you want to see a different one while I tell you my story? I went to Yellowstone when I was 16. I went on a road trip there, and on our way out of the park on the very last day that we were there, we were driving up. And if you've been to Yellowstone before, or if you haven't, I'll try and paint you a picture. The park is like a rectangle or a square, and there's a circular road in the middle, and then there's 4 spokes going off each direction, like north, east, south, and west. Or at least it was when I went there when I was a teenager. And most of the bison are in the central area where the plains are. And as you head north out of the park, you're getting into the mountainous regions and into Montana. And typically you're not going to see bison there because they're plains animals. And so we've been driving for like a solid 15 or 20 minutes on this road north out of Yellowstone. And as we are like going down this little 2-lane road, it's 1 lane in each direction, this bison comes walking down the middle of the road in like on the yellow line, the striped line, towards us, just by himself. He's just hanging out by himself. And I stopped the car and was watching him come up, and he walked very slowly right past our window, and his head was so cool and so massive. His eyeball was like this big around, and it was just the coolest thing ever. Like, it was such a cool experience. Grace says that her willpower is fading and trying not to buy more brands of paint. Well, Grace, if we ever see each other, I can lend you some of my MGraham paint. Actually, Grace, let's see, this was a bit of a secret. So only those of you who have sat through an hour and a half of babbling can know it, I guess. I'm going to be doing my swatch with me soon, and I have some palettes of MGraham I'm going to be putting up in the shop when I do that. So if you want a sampler, I'm going to be putting one up soon. I don't have very many, but there's that. Okay. I missed it. So while I was talking about bison, I think we're still doing Cobalt Teal. I didn't really see much about it. I see one. Yes to Cobalt Teal. All right, Cobalt Teal. Where's my pen again? See, I just was using it and I already lost it. I'm a crazy person. Okay. Are you guys okay with me using my MGraham Cobalt Teal, or do you want me to use a PG50? Okay. Ah! Oh! Hey Steve, welcome back! We're just about to start with Cobalt Teal. From MGraham, of course. And I think this will be our last one today. Yeah, I think we should get a range between limey colors and more mossy ones. I think we'll get a good range. Yeah, we had a question on what pigment is MGraham's. MGraham's Cobalt Teal is made with PB28, so the same as Cobalt Blue. If you want to know more about Cobalt Teal, go ahead and check out, I have a color spotlight a couple weeks ago and talked all about the differences and how different brands use different pigments for that color. Sorry for the squeaking. Again, I don't know why my plate all of a sudden started doing this. I've been using this plate for months. It's never done that. We're like slowly scooting this poor piece of paper off of my screen. There we go. Daniel, I don't know. I don't enjoy squeaky sounds. If you guys do though, that's good because it won't bother you. I always worry about people who are using headphones to watch videos, especially when you've got like metal tins or porcelain palettes that might accidentally clank together. It makes me so nervous. So there's a couple brands that use Cobalt Teal, the PB 28, and most use PG50, some use PB28, and there's even one brand that Da Vinci uses PG36. So we can go from like a green gold to like a nice bright light green. Oh, Grace asked what was the nickname for the snake. Are you talking about the viper corn? It was a viper, like a pit viper snake. Yeah, that particular one, Cobalt Teal, is more complicated than most colors, just because it has apparently a lot of derivatives. So not all pigments are that confusing. We did talk about Quin Magenta this past video as well, and that one is slightly confusing because there's two different pigments, but it's really just the two different pigments. And White Knights calls theirs by Quin Rose, even though it's a Quin Magenta. So conventional naming can often disagree with the pigment number. So it's always good to look that up in case you're buying more paint. Like, you don't need to know it just for the sake of knowing it if you don't want to commit time or resources to that. But if you're going to buy new paints, I would definitely check your pigment numbers so that you don't double up on paints that you already have. A big one is like Phthalo Green is the same as like Emerald Green in a lot of brands, and Verde and Hues in other brands. So you just want to make sure you're not doubling up on your colors. The recent one has to be a Uni 2 because the other way doesn't work, and please don't type it in chat. It's a cockatoo unicorn. I like this green a lot. This is actually like a really, I mean, it's brighter than our Sap Green, but that works for that. It's really nice. Grace says that's why she asked. She didn't want to say the wrong one. Uni 2 sounds silly. It's kind of like a unicycle in my head, but unless we just call it a unicorn cockatoo. There's not really another good nickname for that. No problem. I'm glad I could help with the pigment names. If you guys are hanging out in chat, I know we have some new faces. If you wouldn't mind giving the video a like, that helps out the channel a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. If not, no worries. Heather's back in time to see some mixtures with Cobalt Teal. Thanks, Grace. How's it going, Jacqueline? Did you go eat dinner? I might have missed it. Hey, Steven. Yeah, so that's the whole kind of tester today, is to see how these mix together, because with those hues, I don't really like how yellow they can be when you dilute them, but in mixes, they've been doing a really good job today. Thanks, Steve. I'm glad you like all the greens. These are really pretty, and I'll hold it up to the camera too, because Cobalt Teal is a granulating color. We're getting some really nice granulation in the colors once they are dried. I'll show you that first one up close because it's showing some texture. Kind of see that. This isn't the most textural paper because it's the backside of an Arches cold press, but there is still some texture there. Thanks, Mermaid. I'm glad you could have me on in the background while you're cooking. Hi, Jennifer. We are winding down soon here. I apologize, but we'll be on a little bit longer. I think after the Cobalt Teal, before I go, I'm going to show you some more of that ultramarine, Rose of Ultramarine mixtures, because I really liked what happened with the one I mixed up. I don't even remember which one that was. Was that White Knights? And I want to kind of see if the other brands do that too. Good night, Heidi. Thanks for coming by. I'm so grateful that Otto could send these Holbeins for me to be using. They're nice for comparisons. Although all my Quin Gold is going to be gone pretty soon. All these mixes we're doing. Yes, Jennifer. It takes a little time, I think, to like buffer and upload and whatever the YouTube things do, but it'll go straight up after the video. And I'll put a nice thumbnail on it at some point this evening so that it looks a little bit more in line with the rest of my content. Yeah, the latest price I heard was still that $80. I don't know if another one's been up on eBay since then. Oh, maybe the one I did with Rose of Ultramarine was the MGraham. It was so vibrant. Yeah, part of me is tempted to want to sell the tubes that I have, but the other part of me knows that I would regret it forever. I don't think I could ever part with any of them. I'm so glad that I have them though, because I was so, like, it can be so limiting when you know that you only have so much of a precious paint. And we all do it, or not all of us, but a lot of us do it. Even just with regular paints, like with my Schminkas, I'm always so careful with them because they're so expensive here in the United States, and I don't want to not be without them, but at the same time, like, that doesn't make any sense, because if I don't use them, they're never gonna help me in any way. So having some extra tubes of the Quin Gold, including one that Jacqueline sent me because she's amazing, are going to keep me good company and make sure that I am still using that color. So hopefully, I know we're talking about Quin Gold prices in the chat here, but hopefully this is going to show you that we don't need to have Quin Gold on hand. Like, we can use one of the alternatives and still be okay with our mixes, at least. I do think that the hue of this one is just so beautiful, and I love it so much that it's hard to match that specific hue. But when you're using it in mixing, that's the whole point of today's stream, is to try and find other alternatives that we like just as much. Oh, Daniel saw a 3-pack of PO49 for $150. Interesting. Yes, my precious. So I heard Jerry mentioned the pigment. I was talking with you about it the other day because one of you guys let me know, maybe that was you, Jerry, about the pigment that was on one of the websites. And it looks like it's a bit darker. It doesn't look like it's quite the same gold color, even though it's the same pigment number. Jacqueline says that my precious is the same thing she said when she sent it to me, which she absolutely did. It was in the letter she sent me. MGraham's is definitely the most vibrant. Yeah, there's a company that has the PO49 pigment, but it doesn't look quite the same as Quinacridone Gold. It's darker. MGraham. Yeah, which is really cool to know, and that's why I wanted to do this, because on its own, I don't like the MGraham's version because it's so yellow, but in mixes, that yellow is what's making it so vibrant and beautiful. And oh, hey Jennifer. But when we're talking about mixes, MGraham's been stealing the show because it's so vibrant and beautiful. So even if you don't like something in its mass tone out of the tube, it might be worthwhile in some of your palettes still, because if it makes colors that you like to mix with, then that's great. I'm just putting like little swatches of color on the ones that we've already done so that we know what colors were used. All right, almost done. Okay, and then I promised we would go ahead and do a little bit of the Rose of Ultramarine, and then we'll go ahead and show you all the ones that we have from today and finish up the stream. So I think this was the MGraham, although I'm sure that someone on the replay or something, or someone even here in chat with better memory than me might remember what I was mixing here. It was either the White Knights or the MGrahams, I'm pretty sure. So let's take Rose of Ultramarine and we'll mix it, or was it the original Quinacridone Gold? I don't know, guys. Let's try it. Some other things. Someone's talking about a good deal on something. I missed what the something was. So this is the original Quinacridone Gold with Rose of Ultramarine. PO48 is what we're looking at next time on Color Spotlight. Tune in for that. Oh, a molar. Oh, cool. Yeah, molars can be expensive. I'm going to do Winsor Newtons down here. Top secret information, Grace. Yeah, okay. I think David is the one who wins this stream, because he's the one who recommended this to me, and I was like, oh no, I don't think that'll work. And he was absolutely correct that this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shade of brown. So he wins. Let's see, I'll do one more. Does anyone remember? Do you know which one this one was? I can't remember what brand it was. I have MGraham on my little palette here, so I'll pick some of this up and we'll see what it looks like. Rose of Ultramarine is so pretty, but I didn't find it useful for mixing until now. I don't know where my head was at when I was making my color charts, because I know I made color charts with this one. Maybe I just forgot. Maybe I had put so much other pigment information in my head that this one fell out and I forgot about it. Travesty. Hey, Gracie, we're almost done. We're just wrapping up with a couple last mixtures. Is it Ave? What would I use this mix for? Anytime I would need a rich brown. I do a lot of animal paintings, so this actually reminds me a lot of another color. I'm getting it out for you guys so you can see it. This is Permanent Brown by Daniel Smith, or it's also called Red Brown in Mission Gold. It's PBR 25. And this is obviously more pink. Sorry. It's obviously more pink, but it has the same type of vibe to it. Although this version granulates, whereas this one doesn't. There. Yes, all that information. Cricket just stole it away. So this one wasn't like one of our official mixes. Obviously, it doesn't follow the format of the other pages, but absolutely beautiful. I'm definitely going to try this out in some paintings coming up here. Let's take a look at the other swatches now that they have dried. Don't know how many we can get in here, but just as a recap, here are the Cobalt Teals. And I'm trying to look at the granulation patterns. They all look pretty similar. MGraham's is definitely the most vibrant. Daniel Smith's is actually, well, this is the original, right? So it's less yellow, so it's more subtle, which is nice for certain uses. The White Nights is very subtle as well. It's like a really soft seafoamy type of green. And the Holbein is also another really bright version of this color. Oh yeah, Perylene Maroon or Perylene Violet would look really beautiful also. Guys, I cannot be here for so long, but these mixes sound so good. Okay, I'll try one more. Let's do that Perylene Violet. I can't resist it. I love Perylene Violet. So frickin' pretty. Yeah, very similar as well. Daniel was saying if you want a single pigment version of this mix instead of the Rose of Ultramarine, which has 2 pigments in it, this is very similar. This is more red, so this actually looks pretty similar to the Permanent Brown. Luce is saying we have to mix Venetian red. Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, you're right. I don't have Venetian red on my palette, but I have that Terra Rosa being sticky before. It's going to be a nice rich version between the two. So there's endless possibilities, right? And it's an older video, so I almost hate to recommend it because it's hard for me to go back and watch my older videos, but I do have a color spotlight on Quinacridone Gold, and you can go back and watch that if you want more ideas, even though it's a little bit outdated and definitely not in the same editing style that I have today. All right, so we've got our Cobalt Teal. Our PV23 is definitely muted. These are going to be more of a grayish purple, so if you want a neutral, let me do this so that it's like not too crazy with all the different colors. If you want a more neutral color, these dried actually very desaturated, and that makes sense because yellow and purple are opposites, so we've got some really desaturated tones in here. Oh, awesome, Steve. Steve is working on a micro palette, and he was trying to figure out what colors to put in there. I'm glad this could be a little helpful. Heather says, quick, someone say another one. Be here all night, guys. All right, here are Quin Golds with PV60 from MGraham. You guys really liked MGraham's version, although sorry, this is kind of a weird bleed because I went in when this part was already dry. I love all of these, and they're all very different, actually. I think this is the most differing page that we have out of the ones that we did today. Daniel Smith's is more of this olivey, like deeper, rich brown color. Winsor, or White Nights, is this really subtle. I know you guys didn't like this one as much, but it's so pretty. Maybe it's in person, or maybe it's not as apparent on film. I don't know, but it's such a soft, beautiful color, and I really, really enjoy that. Definitely not vibrant, but really, really pretty. Winsor Newton is probably the most blue of the bunch. Holbein is really nice, and then MGraham is the most vibrant, as I mentioned before. Grace asks, how many colors does Daniel Smith have now? I mean, I know the dot chart is 238, but they have more colors than that, like Purpurite, which I didn't know existed because it's not on the color chart, and it's so pretty. I didn't squash Holbein, Tiffany. I think they're nice. They're just too expensive. Ellen's like, you have to mix Gwendol with purple right now. All right. Here is Quin Gold of PR 122. And we've got some really vibrant oranges. 268, Grace says, for their current number of colors. It sounds like me, like, I don't know. I know other people like them, but I'd be fine dropping the whole duochrome page and just adding in the other colors that are not on there, because I haven't ever even swatched out the duochrome colors, confession, even though I have 2 of their swatch charts. But like, I would like to know that purpurite exists. It makes me so sad. Yes, Tiffany says, excellent, excellent page with the oranges. It does look like a fruit cocktail, doesn't it? All right, so MGraham, definitely the most vibrant. I like Winsor, Newton, and White Knights. DS has a great one. So we moved, this was the Daniel Smith, and I moved it down over here because this one was too washed out. I didn't use as much pigment as I used on the other ones. All of them look like tropical sunsets. It just depends on which one. I know, right, Grace? Grace says, Denise hasn't swatched something? Question mark, exclamation point. I can show you. I have proof. Orange papaya creamsicle. Ooh, that sounds good. I don't know if I can open this underneath the camera. I can. Okay. You guys want to peek at this? I don't know how well I can get it in here. You're not going to see very much of it. I'll flip through all of these pages of ridiculous number of swatch cards. You can see my duochrome page is not swatched out. Okay, I swatched out one. I swatched out this one up here. All the other ones are not swatched. Well, Jacqueline, I love having the resource. I did not love reorganizing all of them. My back really didn't like it. It was painful, quite honestly, but it's all done now, and I know, Steve says I should insure this binder. I should put it under my renter's insurance. Make sure I have it covered. Tiffany says, if I make you a label that says fat swatch binder, will you use it? Yes, I will. Yeah, it got really ridiculous. I blame Otto in a loving way, because she sent me the Holbein pot that had 50 colors on it. I had new Schminke colors that I ended up swatching, and I had to reorganize everything because I didn't fit on the pages anymore. I mean, we could do a duochrome swatching, but I don't know. It's fine. They just don't excite me. I get so much more excited about the other colors. Jennifer says it must have taken a lot of time. Absolutely. I try and swatch colors when they come in so that it's not as much. When I had to do all the Holbein colors, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so many swatches at once. I did that on stream, I think. And then organizing them, I literally had to dump out every single page and just had piles and piles and piles of swatch cards everywhere, and sorted them by colors and then organized them into pages. So no one send more colors. I can reorganize them again. You guys are awesome, though. I am so grateful for all your support, for sending me all these amazing things so I can create this resource. It is a new stretch goal. I haven't really announced it yet, but I have a new stretch goal on Patreon that if I reach that goal mark, I will digitize all of these and put them up online as a resource. So it's a bit off in the future. I think it's about double of what I'm at now, so it's not like a goal that's like immediate, but I do have a new scanner, and if we can get up to that goal, I will spend the time to catalog all of these and get them up for you guys. I have wanted to do that, but it's just going to be a massive, massive undertaking. So I thought you guys might be excited about hearing that. I haven't quite known how to announce that to the channel since it's still so far off in the future, but Daniel says he doesn't even know what duochrome colors are. Honestly, I don't either. I have to look into them. I don't know anything about them. Thank you guys for all of your kind words. You guys are so sweet. Ian Jackson says that we have an obsessive swatching disorder in the watercolor community. Definitely true. All right, guys. Well, thank you for spending. It's been 2 hours. This one's the longest one I think we've done. Thank you for spending 2 hours with me. Be sure to give the video a like if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for all of your amazing support. I will be back on hopefully Friday. I know that some of my color spotlight videos have been coming out on Saturdays because I haven't had enough time for them, but the next one should be up on Friday. We're doing Quinacridone Burnt Orange, and I'm very, very excited for that one because it is one of my original favorite colors that I haven't used in a really long time, and I'm really excited to get like rekindled with it. So thank you guys. Have a good dinner or sleep or breakfast or whatever it is that you are doing now, and I will see you next time. See you later.